Hey, well, welcome. Thank you for coming tonight. This is Cook Memorial Library's face-to-face series, and I'm happy this evening to welcome Andrea Kennett, an artist and writer who we all know and love from town here. Andrea recently wrote a children's book, and she's going to tell us about that process. So if you can, stay muted until the end. We'll have plenty of time for questions at the end of the program, and we'd be happy to take them then and have a nice conversation. But for now, we're going to let Andrea take it away.
Thanks, Mary. Hello, everybody. Thanks for coming. The name of this talk I called is Following Your Muse. And I'm trying to outline how I did this book. But first, I really want to say this book was dedicated to my mother. She was a fastidious teacher of the English language, and she was a very bright woman, and I'm sure she would have loved to read this book. Anyway, I've written it all down because I don't trust myself. Oh, I know it. I'm going to show 4 sketches as I read. I'm going to advance them, and then the second part will be a slideshow of the book. And I may or may not comment on it, but it's a quick slideshow of the entire book. But I wrote this out because I didn't trust myself to memorize anything. So here we go. I want to thank Amy Carter for inviting me to talk about my recent book, A Very Lucky Life by P.D. Talmouse, Mary Cronin for the tech help and the generous use of the library, and Peggy Johnson, whose extraordinary talent of designing, elaborating, suggesting, coordinating the miles of material and profound knowledge of book design made this project a success. I've enjoyed the process of it and learned a great deal, in particular, how to let my own ideas go and adjust to where I'm being led. This is the muse part. It isn't easy because I've been schooled my whole life to pick a project and a goal and then work like hell to get it accomplished. Now I think it's more about recognizing what is calling us, what is pulling us, what is asking us to follow. That is the first step, and then having the courage to do it. This sketch here was one of the quick ideas that I was trying to work out for one of the parts of the book where Petey gets trapped in a plastic seed scoop. And the second one is where he gets his name. And all of these are just, sketches, musing, where is this thing going? And what happens is, and I'll tell you in this, it's about storytelling. Storytelling was always been a big part of my life's entertainment. I grew up listening to some of the best local storytellers of my time. My dad, my brother, and so many of our collective friends are skilled storytellers. For me, it meant a constant mental movie. I could see it happening in my mind's eye. The illustrations were presented in nearly finished form. Was it a talent? I think it was more of a gift. So this book was created to introduce 4 bronze sculptures. And I have one that's Santa, I have one that's a violin player, I have one that's a TWA pilot for John McGowan, and I have one that's a mountain biker. So the book was meant to bring these characters to life. And that's how I started this. So how did this book get started? This new book came about because I wanted a way to introduce my 4 bronze sculptures. The development of the story started with the first bronze and evolved from there. And that was the fun part. The nuts and bolts of the work was done at the library with Peg. We hashed over the placement of the illustrations to coincide with the dialogue and the general presentation of the work. When I got tired of reading it, which I did, editing it, which I really did, and looking for missteps, I handed it over to friends to read. They became emotionally involved, gave suggestions, changed outcomes, and were invested in the work. It was invaluable. What I hadn't anticipated, though, was the footwork that was needed to get the ball rolling with releases from the various businesses that were mentioned. And the first person that I approached was Chief Littlefield. I was scared to death he was going to say, "Are you kidding? I'm not going to do that." And the thing he said was, "I would be honored." And I was like, wow, okay, this is good. So it gave me the courage to keep going. He was a really good sport. Katie Thompson, Peg Loughlin, Lou DeMaio, Tamworth Town Selectman, Hope McGowan, Mary Cronin, Kara Sutherland, and folks at the Tamworth Distilling followed suit. Then there was the sheer volume of illustrations needed, at least one for every other page. I spent hours photographing and drawing relative likenesses of the buildings. Months went by. Time was drawing near to Christmas, and I had hoped to get this done for the holiday. Minuteman Press was getting jammed up with other hurry-up jobs, so each remake was getting more and more anxious. And believe me, you know, Peggy was so patient with me, but she kept saying, you know, this would be really good if you had another illustration here. I'd be like, holy cow. You know, I just, this was supposed to be a simple project, and it was turning into way beyond what I had imagined. But that's okay. I stuck with it. Minuteman, I already told you that, but I had to do it. I had to do each job, or I would have regretted it. Peggy is a pro, and she went the extra mile to make sure it was ready to go to print. This is going to be over with before 2 minutes? Anyway, and then in the middle of it all, I decided it'd be a great idea to sell likenesses of P.D. Talmouse to go along with the book. Him, holy cow. I've never done a mold. I had to figure out how to do that. I created a wax clay sculpture of the original drawing, learned how to make a mold and castings from plaster of Paris. After making 13 individual mice, all different and unperfect, they had to be sealed, painted, and ready for sale along with the book. I had gone completely over the cliff. But it was where I was led, and I went. In the end, the donation revenue from the plaster mouse castings was given to the library as a thank you for the use of the hall. And by the way, there's still 2 little ones left if you want one, donation only. And the thing is, though, I think about all the people, all the authors I've read, and in their forwards, they want to thank this person and that person. Then I'm like, but you know what? I understand it. After writing 3 books, I get it. This really isn't a book about me. It's a book about everybody that was invested in it, who read it, who gave me advice, who said, geez, I hate that ending. You know, would you try something else? And I had to let my ego go. I had to say, you know, that's probably a good idea. And as it turns out, this book was written by many people, and it turned out great. To say one's muse is a straight line process would be misleading. For me, it has not been so. There were so many preliminary parts that had to be in place before the outcome. It was like preparing a garden. It starts with good soil. And this is the front page of the book. It's behind me on the shelf. Probably can't see it, but one thing I learned working with Peg, that children's books have a size, usually 8 by 10. They're usually 32 pages. Usually you have a drawing per page, every other page. So that's basically 14 or 15 drawings. I did 24 drawings in this book. And I just think it came out pretty darn good. So what I'm going to do is hit the, let's see, more. Now, Mary, what happened to the slideshow thing? I don't know what happened to the slideshow. Yeah. Oh, great. Let's see. Oh, thank you. There we go. Yep. Thank you, Mary. Okay, so here we go. Thank you. Very first drawing. And I got, these were all done in pencil, and colored pencil. And because they came from France, we have the French flag. It was so fun to make this up. And my dog Griffey's in here. And that's a chair of mine. And there he is, stuck in the plastic seed container. As you can see, there are a couple of pages that could have had more drawings, but I pooped out. Here he gets his name. Now, this is an interesting one because of the relationship about the first sculpture was Santa. And this is a violin sculpture. He wants to be a pilot. And this is for Johnny McGowan. Distillery, some of you recognize some of these places, I'm sure. Here he is. And there's the chief. What a good sport. Yeah. And that's pretty, now at the end of this, I wonder if I can make this stop. Well, maybe I can't. I'm going to tell you once this is over. And all the people I'm thanking. Oops, okay. So when I came up with the name P.D. Talmouse, it occurred because of the sculptures. Is that okay? Is it going? No, I did stop it. I think I did. You can either stop sharing unless you want to. Oh, I'm just gonna, there we go. No, I was just gonna explain about the P.D. Talmouse. Once the sculptures were all done and then I started the book, it was like, holy cow, this creature doesn't have a name. And, how am I going to refer to the, the sculptures? So I always loved P.D. Woodhouse's, the name there. And I thought, P.D., it's easy to remember. It doesn't mean anything in this case. And then the mouse always said to me he wanted to be tall. So Talmouse sounded just about right. And then I wondered if it was actually a word. And I looked it up And sure enough, it is a word. And you know what it means? It means a French pastry filled with cheese. And I couldn't believe it. And then I looked up the recipe, and that's what's in the back of the book. Talmouse and several of my friends have made that, and they're fabulous. They're hot cheese in puff pastry. Oh my God. So this, to me, this whole project was a gift, from start to finish. And my sculpture's the same, start to finish. And this, did I sit down and say one day I'm gonna, be a sculptor? No, it just appeared. It's the muse of it. I have an artistic talent. I exploited it. I worked with it, and I continued to create. And this guy just showed up. And originally I was making a completely different sculpture, and that one didn't work. And I kept working and working the clay, and this is who arrived. And I was happy to see him. So maybe that's not, I don't know. The nuts and bolts of this project, if you're a writer or you're creating things, you know how it is. You're banging away on the typewriter, you're reading it over and over. You're just like, so sometimes you just get stuck with it. And Peg would often say to me, just leave it for a day and go back and it'll look better. And sure enough, so there's no secret magic other than just, sticking to it and enjoying it too. You got to love what you do. And I do. And I'm lucky. All right. So that's it. All the genius is over. Thank you for coming.
I enjoyed it thoroughly.
Oh, good. Hey, hi, Dale.
So
That's my girl.
Now's a good time to ask questions if you have some, or if you want to know any more about the book or Andrea's process or anything really. The book. So I have a question. I know that
Okay.
there's a copy of the book here at the library, but if you wanted to get one, where would someone go?
Very generously, they're going to be offered at the bakery here in town, the local bakery, the other bakery. And at some point or other, I may have the sculptures there too. I'm waiting for 3 more to come from the foundry in Elliott, Maine. It's a new foundry for me. They're not mice, they're something else altogether. So during the COVID, these mice showed up, and I'm just so lucky that I had a place in my studio to go and create these things and have something to do that was it certainly wasn't something I woke up and said, geez, I'm going to make 4 mice. But here they are. Yeah. And Johnny McGowan was a very special guy. And that TWA mouse, really, I made it for him and his career as a flight attendant. And it was fun. All of it was fun. So anybody else? Question? Hey,
Hi,
Pam.
Andrea. It's Pam.
Yes.
Wondering if Petey Talmouse or any of your other mice might be branching out for a new adventure.
Well, I said no right off the bat to Peg, and then the other day I thought, it'd be good to have a girl pilot. So I don't know. I envision Petey in a chair. He's old. He's got a beard. And his kids are running around, and he sees his daughter pick up the plane, and he goes, "Uh-oh." And maybe. I don't know. I just have to wait until the muse hits me. And then when I find it, you know how that is, Rach. You just, something catches your eye, your fancy, and it sings to you. It speaks to your heart. There's a energy there like no other that says, follow me. This is,
Resonation. Yeah, things
That's right.
resonate with you. They have the
that's right.
Yeah, the ring of truth.
Yeah. Yep. And I called myself a cell tower. I receive this energy and it comes out my fingers, and sometimes I read what I wrote and I'm like, I don't even recognize it. I mean, it just comes from somewhere. And anyway, I'm glad that I have the chance to do it. So, anybody else? Pat Goodwin.
I think it's amazing what you've done, and the illustrations are so adorable.
They're pretty good, aren't they?
Yeah,
Yeah.
wait to read it. Yeah.
Well, you know, I think the last one was the mechanic, because I really needed that in that spot that they were going to fix the plane and get it ready to fly. And it's like I said, it just, I'm reading the story and there's the picture. You know, you're an artist, you know how that is. And it's sometimes it's bits and pieces and other times it's completely formed. And all you have to do is copy. I was like that in high school. I would dream all my papers and then get up in the morning and write them all down. Yeah. I figured everybody was like that. I said that once to my teacher and he just looked at me a long time. Yeah. I don't know who else is here. I can't see anybody. Did everybody go home?
I'm here, and Mary Chase is here.
Hi, Mary.
Hope,
Hi, Andrea. I just wanted to say how proud I am because I watched you go through the process, and
did.
it wasn't always easy. And you really are an inspiration, I gotta say.
Well, I'll tell, Mary was my first go around of reading, and she was very honest, and I loved that about that. You know, you got to get rid. I hate this ending. You know, I'm like, okay, don't mince your words there. Thank you, Mary. Back at you, by the way. Beautiful quilt. Yeah. Hi,
Hey,
Teresa. And Mark, my neighbors. Cute.
Andrea, there are 20 people here.
Oh, well,
20.
geez. Okay.
There may be more than 20 because there's some couples. But if you
That's
stop
true.
sharing, Andrea, if everyone's done looking at your thing, you'll see the whole gallery of faces.
oh, right.
Wait a second.
If you
Stop sharing?
Yeah,
Is that what you said?
yeah.
Okay.
there you
Oh
go.
my God.
Look at
Hi.
Hi, Mary Lou. Hi, Chris.
Andrea, I just want to
Hi,
say
Hope.
what fun it
Yes.
was from wherever I am and being with you in your process, either by phone or in person.
Yep.
And a lot of idiosyncrasies in common. It's a nice way to be able to bounce things off of each other, you know.
Yes. Amen to that. I agree. Yeah. Yep.
I'm going to mute again.
Okay. All right.
Andrea, Mark and I just want to thank you for sharing your gift with us.
Oh,
We both
geez.
read the book and it was great.
Thanks.
I actually intend to take it to take it to my student next week at school and we'll read it together.
Oh, fun.
It's a great little story.
Thanks. Well,
Yeah.
what I like about it is that it's inclusive, you know. Everybody had a part in it.
Yep.
And you guys in person, but in the story, you know, there was, it's mentioned that, you know, everybody had a little to do with it. And it wasn't my intention in the beginning, but once I saw the story develop, I was like, yeah, this is great. This is great. This is Tamworth, you know, Tamworth is like that. And communities throughout the world where people are connected.
Mhm.
You know, we all need each other. We do.
Yep. Well, thank
Andrea, I
you.
will say too, I've sent, and I think I told you, we've had exchange students and I sent, your
Oh,
book is
yeah.
over, your book is in
Thailand.
Taiwan and
Taiwan,
it is,
okay.
and it is over in France.
Uh-oh.
So
Okay, I
the-
hope they don't mind about the Talmouse part.
No. I've already gotten, Lem sent me pictures of her reading it to
Oh, cool.
her boy.
Isn't that
And
fun?
yeah,
Yeah.
so it's over in France and Taiwan too.
Okay. Super. Hope Hutch, thank you for your card. It's beautiful.
You're welcome. You're welcome. And
Yeah.
thank you for this book. I enjoyed reading it so much and will share it with nieces and nephews as I do
Oh,
with
good.
my favorite books. So
Thank you. Thank you very much.
all the well-known places, it's just so special.
It's fun.
Want to be Tamworthian. I just love recognizing everyone, every place.
Yeah. Well, I could have done more, but I ran out of steam. Yeah.
Andrea, I'd like to thank you on behalf of my brother.
Mm.
And I wish that he'd been able to see the book because he would have absolutely loved it.
I sure miss him. Yeah. What a character. Oh, boy. Well, he's always with me. We argue all the time. He's always riding shotgun in the car, and giving me his advice. So he's a
That's
good guy.
good. That's
Yep.
good.
All right, sweetie. Thanks, Hope. Well, I'm almost past my bedtime, 7:30. I should be in my head on the pillow. Does anybody else got a question? S'il vous plaît?
No, if not, then I'm just gonna say thank you, Andrea. That was
Well, thank you.
really inspiring
For
and
doing this.
nice. So nice to see the finished product and hear about
No
it
kidding.
on this end of it. Yeah.
Jeez,
Been-
holy
it was
cow.
fun to watch the process from afar. So I thank you so much for doing this, and I thank everyone who showed up. And I have a note here that we might have a face-to-face coming up next week.
Okay.
So tune in, and we'll have some information about the about what it'll be. It'll be interesting anyway, so you don't want to miss it. The
Okay.
Next week it'll be the last one.
Okay.
So that's
And
it.
if you want a mouse, there's 2 left. You can get them at the library.
There are 2 mice at the library.
Yep.
There are.
They just need homes. Good heavens. All
Yes.
right. Okay,
Thank
kids.
you.
Have a good
All right.
night. Sleep
Good night,
well.
everybody.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming.
Love you.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
Talk to you tomorrow.
Okie dokie.